Okay, today we're back on the Usk, or this evening, and the main reason for coming out this evening is to test out the new Mifine Hunter Surf. This is a 14.5 foot bridge caster. It's telescopic, so that's the length. It's got a lure rating of between 80 and 150 grams. So it's a lot better, or a lot more robust than my normal rod, which has a 30 gram limit. So hopefully I can cast out some gripper weights on the tide here and it'll hold the bottom. But let's open it up and give it a try. I'm not going to be testing out any long distance stuff today because obviously the Usk, you need to do it close up, not far out, about 20 to 30 yards. And I'm going to be pairing this today with the KC Ghotda reel with a 20 kilo monofilament line. I'm going to run a 2-hook flapper rig using what am I using? I'm going to be using size 1 hooks, and I've got some homemade gummy baits which are shrimp flavour, sardine flavour and crab flavour. So we'll give those a go. I'll do another video with the close-up detailing of this rod when we're back indoors after I've given it a field test. I just couldn't wait long enough to do that first. I have got a this is a KC reel. I have got a KT reel 7000 series, which is a much bigger reel, and I've got some more line coming. But for today I'm running the KC on a 20 gram breaking strain monofilament line. So let's get tackled up and see what happens. Okay, so there we are. We got rigged up. We got sardine at the top and crab at the bottom. I'm going to cast it out a little way because, oops. Of course, being on the Usk, you don't need to go too far out. It's about an hour before high tide, so it doesn't need to go too far because the water's coming in anyway. So let's try and get myself sorted out. I'm not used to a rod quite as long as this, but we live and we learn. So let's give that another go. See what we can do with that. I mean, I'm right at the top of the weight limit for the rod. So let's drop that in there. Let's see what is there. I think it's going to take a bit of getting used to that rod. Maybe I might get another one with a higher lure weight but shorter. I feel uncomfortable with a 14 footer, but it might just be me with a new rod. But I do like the feel of it. It's got a real nice texture. But I think I've got a weight right at the top end of that rod, so I might buy some smaller weights, maybe about 4 ounce. That might be better. Those are 6 ounce grippers, So I think it's putting a bit of a strain on the rod, but we'll see. But when we get back, I'll do a closer look at the detailing on the rod so you can see what it's like. I think it's a great rod for the price. It's a Hunter Surf, 14.5 foot. I think they do go up to about 18 foot, but I think next time I'll probably opt for the 12 foot rod. But let's just see what we get. It's an hour and a half before high tide. It's an evening tide, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. Been about 15 minutes, and there's a little bit of knocks. Just slight movement at the tip. It's a lot more sensitive as at my normal 10 foot boat rod is. So there's been a few knocks before, but I think that was just the wind. But we've definitely had some movement on that rod tip. So I might just give it a go and see if we've got anything. One of the things I'm sort of thinking about is, even though the rod is rated up to 150 gram weight, I'm not very comfortable with that. Maybe I'm just not used to casting that sort of heavy stuff. I might get some 100 gram weights and use those until I get used to the rod. Obviously when you move up from a 10 or 12 foot rod to 14.5 footer, it takes a bit of a getting used to. So once I get the new reel, I'll get some lighter weights and we'll give that a try. But I might also try this later today using, I've got some 20 gram weights, just normal drop weights. So I might just swap them over and try a bit of a further casting. It's just going to take time to get used to it, that's all. So let's bring it in and see if we've got anything and do a cast out and get used to it. Yeah, I thought I had a couple of nibbles on it. I've lost half of the sardine and lost the bottom bait as well. So let's get some more bait on, or let's get some more of the bottom bait on. And we'll see what happens. Yeah. Obviously the other thing with the heavier weight is I can't use my stand so easily. These are all things to learn. There's a bit of crab on. I think we're okay with the sardine. There's still half a piece there. So let's try and find a better place. It's not holding up very well using the stake as a rest. So I think we might have to think about that as well. Let's just put up against the chair for now. Right. These rod stake holders are no good for these heavier rods. Ideal for the shorter rod, but not so good for this. We need to have a proper rod rest. So we'll put that on the list and see how this goes. Yeah, okay, what I'm going to do is bring this rod in and I'm going to swap the weight over to one of my 20 gram weights, maybe put 2 on. Even though it's rated up to 150 grams, I'll go 125 gram weight on, and I'm not happy with the way the rod handles. It could just be me not being used to such a long rod. So I'll get used to the rod first and then we'll swap over and do some lot higher weights. But this one I'm just going to bring in. There's not too much of a rip on the river tonight, so a couple of 20 gram weights should be more than sufficient to hold the bottom near enough. So let's bring it in and let's change the weights. Just as well, because I've lost my bait as well, so we'll put on some new bait, swap the weight and see what we can do. So just dropping on a couple of 20 grams, going to be 40 gram in total. Let's put some sardine at the top hook. And some crab on the bottom. Yeah, I feel much better with those smaller weights on. Okay, let's see what happens. There's a bit more movement on the rod now that I've put on the lighter weight, but that's really only because it's doing a little bit of rolling with the tide on the riverbed. But it was a lot easier to cast with that lighter weight. It felt more comfortable. You could feel the rod respond a lot better. So I think if we drop down to a 100 gram, even though it says 150, I think 100 gram would be a nice weight for this rod. Anything above that, and I think you're pushing it a bit too far. So 4 ounce gripper weight should be sufficient. But it does, with that lighter weight and the weight getting back to what I'm used to, it was very comfortable to cast. There's no denying the quality of the build of the rod. Got a really nice texture. But we're approaching high tide, the high mark. So let's just relax a bit and see if we can get a bite or two. Perfect conditions, nice and still, overcast, not too warm. Coming up to night, so the fish are feeding. Should be ideal. Okay, so I've had about half a dozen or so casts with this now, and I'm beginning to feel a lot more comfortable with it. At the moment I've got 2 1 ounce weights on, so 2 ounce. I'd handled it no problem, and I feel comfortable with that. I think as I get used to it, I'll build it up weight wise. I think 4 ounce weight would be good on this. Maybe a 5. I wouldn't go much above a 5 ounce, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. But let's have a few more casts. We're beginning to lose the light, so I want to get a couple more casts in before it gets too dark, and we'll see how it goes. Tell you what, I do seem to be losing a lot of bait tonight. I don't normally go through this much. I don't think I'm losing any bites. I mean, we've had some movement on the tip, but I think that's just to do with the wind and maybe the tide. But it could be, you never know, fish biting. It just takes a little bit of time to get used to new rods. That's all. So maybe I am missing a few bites, but I've got a bit of sardine left, and I'll put on some krill as I've run out of crab. Again, don't want to go too far out in the Usk. They do jump around quite close to the bank. I've seen them jumping 5 foot from the bank. They need a fishing net, a landing net, and they jump right into it. But very quiet at the moment. There's a few people up on the jetty, and there's not been much in the way of catches up there either. So just a quiet night. But let's carry on. Okay, so I've just seen this rod in action. It's a Mifine Surf Hunter, a telescopic surf casting fishing rod. Very nice it is. I love the build quality of this. I did use last night with a 125 gram gripper weight, and I wasn't very comfortable with that. I think it's just a new rod, a longer rod than I'm used to, and a heavier weight than I'm used to. I did drop down later in the session and just used 2 1 ounce weights, and it was very, very good. I got some real good long distance casting done on that. I've ordered some 3 ounce and 4 ounce weights. This is rated between 80 gram and 150 gram, so anything between 2.8 ounce and up to 5.2 ounce. I think 150. Let's just check that. So 150 gram is 5.29 ounces. I used 125 gram weight yesterday, which is 4 ounce, and that felt heavy, but that just been because I'm not used to it. It may be better I've got used to it. But I've ordered some 3 and 4 ounce ounce weights, and I'm sure that's going to work really, really well. But let's have a closer look at the detailing on this. It comes in its own PVC bag. Closed, the length is, just check on that, the length closed is 89 centimeters. Fully extended, this one is 5.4 meters, which is 14 foot 9. Fully extended. It's about 4 foot longer than I'm used to. But if you can get up close, it's got this handle part is really nice textured, and it's got a herringbone etching on, which gives it a really nice look. PVA stroke foam handle, which is comfortable to grip. I love the wheel seating. It's a real good quality seating there. You just put it in and just screw it up, and it's got a good solid firm screw, good deep screw grooves, and just feels really firm grip. I used it in conjunction with a Ghtoda KC reel yesterday, and it worked really, really well. On some of the castings towards the end of the day, when I got used to the rod, I was almost running out of line. It was casting that far. It's got a real nice whip to it, which makes me think that possibly 4 ounces is probably the maximum I would feel comfortable going, even though it can get up to 5.2 ounce raw weight. But let's carry on. As I say, it's got a real nice grip to it. Take off the top. We've got 5 sections. This first eye here lays down flat, good solid click to it, and you just pull it up, and it's well placed there. Good solid connection, and you just got to pull that back down like that. All the eyes are really well held on to the rods, and each section of these rods feels really nice. It's got a real nice texture. You can probably hear as I pull it in and out, that texture. And it's very quick to set up, and it's really solid, good grip once it's extended, and it just needs a bit of a twist just to loosen it, to bring it back down. The quality of the line eye is really nice. It's got a nice sort of ceramic interior, very well suited for salt water. There's 5 sections. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's 2 7-section rods. And overall, it's really nice. It's made from a carbon fibre, a strong carbon fibre. Let's check which type it is. I think it's T30. So it's one of the strongest that you can get. Yeah, it's 30T, high carbon fibre. So that's really nice. It is going to get a little bit of getting used to. I don't think I'll be taking it out too often down to the River Usk on the estuary, because quite simply you don't need to cast that far, and I'll stick to my 10-foot boat rod, which is more than adequate for estuary fishing. I'll probably reserve this for taking down to Penarth Beach, or maybe out to St Bride's where you need to cast a little bit further. But for my normal estuary fishing, it's too much. But very nice feel to it, very good action. You can get a real nice whip and get that bait casted out far using this, but I would not go much above a 4 ounce gripper weight on this. I wouldn't push it up to 150. I think 120 is probably about most. And that will help you with most situations, even on quite a strong whip tide. So yeah, an ideal rod available in the shop now. Absolutely got no complaints, and I'm going to really enjoy using this as I get more and more used to handling the longer rod. Excellent stuff. So if you want to see more product reviews of items that we sell in the shop and see them in action, then please subscribe, like and share this video.